Welcome to the Cherry Picker, the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zach Cherry, and with me as always is.
Tim McKay from Tim McKay Beauty.
And today we are talking about Obsession, released May 15th, 2026. This is a new release. I mean, everyone knows this movie at this point because it's
Yep.
just sort of blown up theaters. But
Yeah,
how
it's
are
like all
you,
people were
Tim?
talking about.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I went and saw this movie again today because it's been a little while. But it was a good day otherwise too. I've just
Yeah.
been trying to keep busy here in New York. How are you doing up there?
Uh, Up here in the Great White North, it's
Yes.
actually really nice, and in Calgary right now, when I say nice, it's actually raining a lot right now, which I love. That's nice to me. Probably
Mm-hmm.
not for a lot of people, but it's I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like I come alive when it's just like raining and it just like that really gloomy and doomy weather.
I do like when it's like it gives me that excuse to stay inside and watch movies because then I don't feel bad about it. When it's like
Yeah.
sunny out, I'm like, oh, I guess I should be outside, but I'm like, oh, guess it's raining, gotta stay in. So
Yeah. The thing is like there's always like errands to run and you have to go outside in it. And I like looking at it
hmm
from inside, but like once you get all cold and wet and your shoes
yeah,
get wet, it
yeah.
sucks. And
I realized I love the right before the rain starts when you feel that like oh, was that a trickle? Like, oh, did I feel like a little drizzle? Like I like those little like beep boops, those little mystery,
yeah,
those little
it's
chill. I
it's
like
the
those.
best when that's happening as you're just like you're getting home. Because then you know
Yeah.
that like you've just made it
Yeah.
before all of like the torrential downpour comes and possibly hail. You know, like I know
hmm
it's June now, but like we've been known to have hail in the summer, so would not put it past the weather gods. But
Yeah.
uh but yeah, this obsession is like kind of unprecedented for, you know, a lot of what's happening right now. And what's interesting is that this movie has kind of like overtaken the internet and social media. Like people love this movie. It has a higher Letterboxd and IMDb score than Sinners and like Weapons, The Substance, like all those other
Wow.
what was the other one that I feel like there's just been a series of movies that have just like come out in the horror genre in the last couple of years that have kind of like blown up and been these like huge hits and everyone loves them except for me. Um
This movie is the movie right now. This is all I'm
yeah.
hearing about. This is what I'm hearing about from people that are not into horror movies are talking about this movie. People in like finance are talking about this movie. Like it
Yeah.
just people all sides of the globe are talking about it. So it's just
Yeah.
funny.
No, it's really interesting and I don't like I don't dislike this movie or anything. Like I think that it's above average. I think that it's a very like on a technical level, like a very well put together movie.
hmm
But it was just one of those things where the hype came out and I was just kind of like the that one? Okay. Um
Yeah, I first heard about this from Cody Leach, the YouTuber Cody Leach. He hyped it up right after it would premiered at South by Southwest, and so
right.
um, I remember like not knowing what it would be about, and then hearing that it was kind of like this not trope, but it's kind of a trope that we've heard of before, like the watch what you wish for,
Hmm.
um, and
Or the
yeah,
F
and just
around and find out.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But ever since that South by Southwest last year, that's all I've it's the movie that everyone's talked about, and so.
Yeah. And
I think I was expecting a lot.
that's in August,
And
right? South by Southwest.
um I think you might be right. I have no
Yeah.
idea. I always hear about it like after it's happened and I'm like, "Oh my God, I would love to go one year." And then I never think about it until after it happened.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
A
so
bit
that's
far
all
for
I heard
me
about.
to go to Texas. But
True.
yeah, it's like I remember seeing the trailers for it or just like the teaser trailer and you know like the one thing that I really remember about it was Blumhouse and Blumhouse is kind of hit or miss for me. Um but yeah, with this one it's interesting because like the online discourse is so overly positive that and you know me like I'll come in and I'll just like you know try to have like a very like grounded or realistic opinion about something. And I haven't really talked much about this one because I just feel like I don't want to like get into it. But I've seen some
Hmm.
people who will, because like for instance, like we have Amethyst in the comments here right now, and he's saying, um, it was fine, and people are acting like this film is perfect, and he doesn't get the hype personally. And I've seen that. I've seen people like even like just like give it like the slightest and not even like negativity, but just sort of like, it's fine. Let's like pump the brakes a little. And people are like getting really worked up about that. It's just like you just
Yeah.
didn't get it. The themes are incomprehensible to you because like you're not smart enough or like it just turns into that kind of rhetoric. And it's like,
Hmm.
look. Like everything is unique and is like open to interpretation for what it is. But I feel that like if you're like defending a movie or praising it in a certain way, and you have to resort to like getting defensive to the point where you're like insulting another person or like their perspective or their opinion or their knowledge on film. It's just like, why do you feel the need that you have to like push that hard? It's like almost like do you not believe in your own like self-justification of like how you feel about it, that that's not enough?
I think some of it has to do with people are just so sick of remakes and everything right now and the requels that like
Yeah.
any sign of something original, people are like, "Oh my God, like it's either going to be like amazing or it's going to be terrible." And so the
Yeah.
fact that it's just good, like I think it's a good movie. I think it was done well. The acting is really good and yeah, I think it was a good movie, but
Yeah.
is it like something I'm going to like fight over? Absolutely not.
Well, what it's really interesting that you bring up that idea of remakes and whatnot, because this is what I really appreciate about Obsession. Okay, so this movie budget, they're saying like somewhere between 750,000 to 1 million.
Hmm.
Uh, so far, I have the numbers in front of me here. One second. It is currently sitting at 151 million, and this is after its third weekend. That's a
Hmm.
worldwide gross, but domestically, it opened to 17 million. And
Hmm.
then the next weekend, which was the Memorial Day weekend, made 32 million. And then just this past weekend, it brought in another 26 million. So it's pretty much like it went up and now it's just sort of like kind of like evened out and it's staying the same. So it'll be interesting to see, what it does next weekend. And also like Backrooms just came out as well. And that was like that's another thing of just like,
Hmm.
how much money that's made. So I think that like what's really interesting, and this is something that's happening now, and it's been happening, and I feel like studios have not really been taking advantage of it, is the fact that people are craving new movies. They're
Yeah.
wanting new ideas. They're wanting new voices, new visions. And the thing that sucks of like where what this like might be interpreted as is that studios are gonna look at this and be like, okay, let's get Obsession 2 greenlit right away. Or let's
Hmm.
get the Backrooms 2 greenlit right away. And it's like, no, like that's not what we want. Like people want new things because like that's just sort of like the Hollywood mantra is just like we need to franchise everything. There needs to be, you know, just like return on investment and everything like coming in and in again, where it's just like, no, the reason that people are coming to this is because these are like built up as events. And there's obviously word of mouth played a lot into it. And I think that, even though this cost like the budget of the film was like under 1 million, uh I believe that not Blumhouse, but whatever the other studio is that has the rights to this movie, they
Hmm.
purchased it for 14 million.
Oh.
Yeah, so like that was like the distribution uh cost. And then on top of that you have like the marketing cost as well. And I feel like with this movie, because it's just been everywhere, and I feel that like there has been a lot put into making sure that like it does have this upward trajectory, that it's probably cost a pretty penny. Um, but even still, like for to pay $14 million to buy the distribution rights and to already be at 150 million. after
Yeah.
3 weekends. Like that's insane. And hopefully if they're looking at the lessons, like Talk to Me was another one that came out a few years ago. Also like by the Philip Howe brothers who like started on YouTube. Same with like Curry Barker and Kane Parsons who did Backrooms. It's just like these like kind of like new voices coming into the horror genre and studios taking a chance on it. Like clearly this is what's selling right now. This is what's making money, not remakes and things like that. Even though there are some properties like Scream, obviously, like you keep making Scream movies, people are going to see them, but for most things, that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, I think it's really cool because I know a lot of movies nowadays can't do that. They can't like it's not very often that you see continual steady money making every weekend of for the film. Never mind
Mhm.
whether it goes up or goes like, at least steady, like I'm saying. So I think that's really awesome that this movie is able to do that. It reminds me of movies of the 90s, like back in the day when like
Yeah.
Scream would come out and then the first weekend would do okay and then it would just do better and better as people heard
Yeah.
about
Just
it.
kind of like a
So
sleeper hit.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
it's rare nowadays. And I know when I went today, it was my third time seeing it today. Um,
Oh, 3 times already.
it was actually my third time. Yeah, the
Oh,
second time
wow.
I left early, because I had already seen it, and I think I was only going just to kill time.
Mhm.
Um, and I have that Regal
You've
account,
got your
so
pass.
yeah, I got my
Yeah.
pass, so it's not like I'm like wasting money. It's just
Yeah.
yeah, I know. So it was great, but there was everyone that was in the theater today. I could tell it was their first time seeing it because all the right moments, I would hear the gasps, I would hear like the yeah, people say the same thing in each showing. It was funny, like the same oh hell no or like so creepy. Like they would just like shout out the same things, and so that was cool. I'm glad that people had good reactions to it.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that she was just too cute, like to find very scary. I didn't find that's what my only thing with this movie was I really enjoyed it, but I didn't find
Yeah.
it creepy or scary at all. I until the very very end, and I'm not talking crap about it. That's not a bad thing. I don't want to make anyone mad with that,
Look,
but
look, don't worry about making people mad. Like people can put on their big kid pants and
put
deal
on your
with
big boy
criticism.
trousers.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Or
so
girl.
I just thought she was so cute that like even when she's like doing the creepy stuff around the bedroom, I'm like, I wouldn't really be scared. I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's my
Yeah, I
only
mean,
thing.
I'll get more into those things, but I did just want to touch upon like the finish off with like the idea of the IP and the remakes that you had brought up. Something that was announced just today or yesterday, if you're watching this when we upload it, is that there's a remake or reboot or whatever. I think they said remake of Escape from New York that's now coming out directed
No
by
way.
Zack Snyder. Yeah, and this is something that's been floating around for a while. Like like I think Radio Silence was attached at one point a few years ago. But now it seems like it's moving forward full steam ahead. And it's just so interesting that like we've like in within the last 2 to 3 weeks that we've had this success with movies like uh Obsession and Backrooms and now you're like announce a movie like Escape from New York, which I mean, to be completely fair, I don't hear people ever talking about that movie. Like it's very niche, it's very cult. Like that's from
Mhm.
1981. I believe that movie, because I was looking it up, like it cost 6 million to make in 1981, which is probably just over 20 million today, and then would have gone on to like for inflation probably made almost $200 million. But then they made a sequel to it in 1996, so that's like 30 years ago, and that bombed. Like it cost uh like the amount that it brought in was less than the box office. So it just seems weird that like we're announcing remakes for movies that nobody is talking about, nobody is asking for. So I feel like this is what I'm talking about. It's just like the industry is just constantly making these mistakes because it's like people love John Carpenter and there was a lot of success with like Halloween and bringing that back for a new trilogy. So let's
Mhm.
like bring back another one of his movies. And it's just like it's that mentality that I feel like the studios keep falling into these traps and they end up losing money where just like you could have made, especially looking at Obsession that costs $1 million to make just in terms of like the production cost. like how many obsessions can you fit into the budget for whatever this like Escape from New York remake is, and like how much more
Yeah.
money will that make rather than, lose in terms of like an IP that nobody's really like most people don't know. Like the fans of that movie would probably be, like our age or even older. It's not really catering to younger audiences.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of is it would do is I know the sequel they went a lot more campy with it and a lot more silly with it. I think
Hmm.
it's a parody of the first one in a way. And so I fear that that's what they would do nowadays is like try to do something kind of like I would think of like The Rock Jumanji. Like that's kind of like
Yeah.
how I would see like their new attempt of Escape New York for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, and I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock was in it. Um, but I know we have to catch up
Yeah.
on the chat a little bit. Chat's going
Yeah,
wild.
what's
I love
what's
it.
the chat's going wild. Well, let's thank you for reining me in because I lose track of chat
No, we have a lot to
sometimes
say
here.
today. We have a lot to say
We've
today.
got a
It's
lot to
fun.
say. I mean, there's a lot of opinions going on here, but I do want to quickly just take
Chat
care of
is
some
wild.
housekeeping, if you please. So, hey, if you're here, watching because you liked Obsession or watching because you're a fan of the Cherry Picker, thank you for choosing us and,
Mm.
making this your, at least right now, your designated horror movie podcast. And if you are new, stick around. And, there's probably lots of other things that we talk about that you might enjoy. But if you would like to give back to the podcast a little bit, your help actually keeps this motor running. So head over to my Patreon account at patreon.com/Zack Cherry. And any tier that you want to subscribe at is helpful. But if you are subscribing at the Freddy Krueger tier, that's $5 a month, you will get to join us every Monday as we live stream record our episodes. So, if you are watching on YouTube right now, you can see we've got the chat in the middle, and we're gonna
Hmm.
we're gonna address everyone's questions and comments as we go along here. But on top of that, you also get the opportunity to nominate and vote for the movie or topic that you would like us to cover at the end of each month. We just
Hmm.
did, it was our favorites and least favorites of every horror franchise. Not
Yeah,
every
it was
horror
so much
franchise, but
fun.
there was like 25 of them,
The
right?
big ones, the
Yeah.
big juicy ones, the ones that have like more than three, I think,
Yeah.
except for Urban Legend, which has three. But
There was a few that
yeah,
had three, yeah, but yeah, we
true.
covered quite a few. It was like 2.5 hours. So if you got like extra time to kill, if you're like on the road for work, I know there's like some people who are truck drivers, or if you're like going to the gym and you want something to
Yeah.
listen to, just throw that on. That was our most recent one, and it was a lot of fun. So, the nominations for this month will be open. I mean, starting today, if you're, if we're into the future now. But otherwise, there's lots of other perks. Zoom calls with me, monthly reviews, and also shout outs. We got shout outs from the top tier supporters. So I do want to thank the Michael Myers tier. We got Kyle Beard, Sam Levy, Ellie Hamouche, Tim McKay. Hey,
Me.
Tim.
Hey.
Horror Slut 95, Austin Hall, Final Girl, Gemma, Cara Day, Michael Boswell, Michelle Hughes, and then thank you very much to the Ghost Faces. We got Eric Champney, Daniel Saturn, Stephanie Starbright, Baby Ghoul, Garrison Nichols, Craig Lynn, and Josh Burrow. And actually, I've got a Zoom call with Craig Lynn tomorrow. So yeah, that's
Ah,
can't
that's
wait for
fun.
that. And that's something that you can get in on too if you support over on Patreon.
I will say I get really excited every time you say baby ghoul.
Baby Ghoul, yeah,
Baby ghoul. It's
a
just such a fun word to say.
AKA Tamika, yeah.
Ah,
So anyway, with that said, do you have a premise?
I do.
Yeah.
After discovering a wish-granting artifact in a spiritual gift shop, Bear unknowingly cast a spell on his close friend Nikki, causing her to causing her to love him more than anyone else. But as Nikki's feelings intensify beyond his control, the consequences grow increasingly dangerous in this dark tale of limerence, magic, and obsession.
What did you say? Limericks?
Limerence. I just learned
Limerence.
that word and I love it. So
What
I
is
actually
it?
wrote this myself and
Help
I
me
put the
out
word
here.
limerence. Let me just find the actual definition. Means an involuntary, intense state of romantic infatuation or obsession. So it's
Oh,
like when you're just like you love the idea of somebody so much, like you have a huge crush on them, and like
yeah,
they've been nice to you a few times, so you're imagining this whole life with them, and that's who they are. When really you have no idea who they are, but you're
yeah.
just infatuated. So
Imagine that the
Limerence.
title of the movie was Limerence.
It would be great. I mean, is there a movie
Limerence.
called Limerence? That sounds like a great
I don't
movie.
know. I have a question for you before
Oh,
we,
please ask it.
get to the, and this is for everyone too. Um, what, do you think that the obsession refers to Nikki's limerence, we'll say, or I guess like both of their, because
Hmm.
limerence, but her, I guess like supernatural or magical obsession with him, or is it Bear's obsession with Nikki, or is it just sort of like an overall thematic obsession throughout the movie?
Ah, good question. I would say it's the obsession that he forces her to that is created with the One Wish
Yeah.
Willow. I would say that that is the obsession. Because
Yes.
I don't even think that he is that obsessed with her. I mean, he is in the beginning, but I think that that falls away quickly once she's not the perfect Nikki that he wants her to be anymore.
Yeah.
And that just
Yeah.
shows that it's not really love. It's just I like you when you're perfect.
It's just infatuation. Actually,
Hmm.
there's an episode of Buffy that I think it's season two. It's the one where Xander puts the spell on Cordelia that backfires, and then instead of Cordelia
Yes.
being in love with him, it's like every other girl at the school, including Buffy. And there's a scene where Giles, because he's in the library, and I think it was like Amy the witch. And because she was just talking about how like her and Xander are meant to be together and it's true love. And Giles says something along the lines of like, this is not love, it's obsession or it's infatuation or something to that
What if he said
extent.
limerence? He didn't.
I mean,
But
if he did, I feel like I would have remembered that word. This is the first time I've ever heard limerence
I'm glad you brought that episode up
spoken by
though, because
you.
that's all I thought of when I first saw it. When I first
Yeah.
watched the movie, I was like, this reminds me a lot of like, even though it's different, like you're saying, like, all the women in Buffy end up loving Xander, but it's
Yeah.
still like that like chaotic third act, everything goes
Yeah.
wrong.
Well, it's interesting because Buffy did a few episodes where there was like a wish involved. Um, like the other one being where Cordelia wishes that Buffy never came to Sunnydale, and even though that's not like about obsession or love, there are dire consequences. So it's like one of those things. It is the F around and find out. And I think there was one in the last season where like they were all under that love spell of like the football player.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
Dawn falls in love with him, and Buffy,
And
yes, and
Willow, gay
and
Willow, yeah.
I remember the trailer for that episode because I
Yeah.
remember it being like next Tuesday night or whatever night it was, and it was like
Mhm.
Buffy does something bad. It's like
Tuesday on the
her.
fr Tuesday on the Frog, or I guess it would have been the UPN at that point.
It was definitely UPN, and it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like I remember because it had such a gloss to it. UPN put such a everyone. Remember season seven had such a shine and a gloss to it.
yeah,
And I remember like they open the door and she's just like riding the football player, or she's like in her like school teacher skirt. I'm like, this is so illegal.
yeah,
But they're just like, oh, it's hot back then.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay, so let's address there was
yeah.
one in particular in the comments that you wanted to. I think it was from Brian. Like
Oh,
how
just
far
because
back?
yeah, Brian actually asked. It was I know that we have a busy chat tonight.
Yeah.
Brian asked what my wish would be, I believe.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, if you had a one wish Willow, what would you wish?
you know what? It's true that like I think it's a different wish if you know that it's real or if you don't know that it's real, right? Because like when Bear makes his wish, he doesn't actually think it's going to come true, or he might have like been more strategic with his wish. So
Hmm.
knowing that it would come true, I would like type out this like long, intricate, like I don't know, detailed with everything included wish, like and this can't go wrong, and this can't happen, and this is gonna go great, you know. But I think I would do something. I hate to say money related, but I feel like money can solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And I would like happily donate. But then I'm like, but then watch like something terrible would happen, and like I would get really sick and like die or something.
It's almost
So
like,
I don't know if
yeah,
I should
because
ask for eternal like health and peace for everyone. I don't know. It's hard.
but then like eternal health and peace, it's just like you just live forever, and people
Yeah,
like they might still get their illnesses, but they'll never die. So those are sort of like suffer through the pain of
we
everything.
have
Like
to
there's
die. I
always like,
know.
yeah, like every
Scary.
wish, like there is some sort of like
Grim.
part of it that backfires, and you don't want to do. But you're talking about like this, like you have to write out a whole thing, and it's like almost like if you're putting like a prompt into Chat GPT or something, and there's just
Mhm.
like there's this, but here's like these like caveats and stipulations, so you know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about, and don't think
Yes.
about going there, doing that, because this is what I'm
Yes.
asking for.
Like Bedazzled. Remember Bedazzled? How his wishes would always go
Oh,
wrong. Love that movie.
I saw it once, but I remember like because like at the first part of it, they go out and get a burger or something. Like she takes me to McDonald's or something,
Oh, that's his
and
first
then
wish. I could have
but
done
it's
that
but
myself.
yeah, but he didn't think that it was a wish, and she had like constituted it
Yes.
as one. So like he had like five wishes altogether, and she like used that as one of them.
So good. Such a good movie. But yeah,
Yeah.
they always go wrong and like yeah, so it's kind of like that a little bit too.
Yeah, I think that my wish would probably be money
I
related. It's
right.
just like, or just like, I wish it wouldn't even be that I wish for money. Like if I had time to think about it and just sort of like what's not going to backfire, I'd probably wish for financial stability. Like just like, oh, to always have financial stability.
But then I remember I saw some show where it was like the person asked for a ton of money. I think it was The Tenth Kingdom. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that movie.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, it's like this guy wished for all this money, and so he gets a suitcase of money. But then it turns out the reason why he got that huge suitcase of money is because a robber stole it, and then so people are like looking for this money, and then so like he has it and all this, but then I guess he gets caught.
Yeah,
There's
like
always a double-edged sword.
it
Yeah, it
belongs to
belongs to
someone
someone.
else, and it's just like your
Mhm.
it's like the universe can't create new things. It can only take something from somewhere else and put it into like your immediate like sphere of whatever. So yeah, like I imagine that like it's like Ian towards the end like wishes for $1 billion, and then it just like starts raining from the ceiling. And my thought was like, okay, well, what's the drawback going to be for that? Like that money obviously came from somewhere. It didn't just sort of like appear out of nowhere. But then at the same time, like you think about like Nikki and all that, because like the idea, and this is maybe, one of the first criticisms I have there, because it's suggesting that like that's not Nikki, it's a demonic entity,
Hmm.
which, I think that changes like the dynamic of everything. That changes the whole story, because it's like if that's not her and she's like trapped in there, that's a completely different idea, rather than it
Yeah.
just like if her feelings turn. And that's why, I feel that like this is not like these are like aspects of the movie that make me feel like the episodes of Buffy that covered wish fulfillments and all that are doing it much better than it is an obsession, because it's like you're not even by that very nature of the fact that it's not her, it's like a demon or something possessing
Hmm.
her, that goes against his wish. He asked specifically in his wish that he wished that Nikki Freeman loved him more than anyone else in the whole world. Not that like a demon possess her body and that the
Mm.
demon be the one that loves him.
Yes. And
So
my thing with the wish is that I think he should have said, I wish Nikki loved me more than anything in the world. I think that makes more sense because loving loving more than anyone in the world, then I think who do you love more than anyone in the world? Do you think your parents, or like if you have a child, like that's your child? Like yeah, you'll do some crazy things for them, but if you love them more than anything in the world, then I think that that would be like you love him more than air. Like you love him more than breathing, you love him more than living. So like
Yeah.
that would be a bigger reasoning for the obsession and the intensity of the obsession, I think. So that was just one thing I noticed. And people that have described this movie have described it like, oh, he makes a wish that she loves him more than anything. And I'm like, no, he actually didn't. It's any one. But I think it should have been anything. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like the chat is a little mixed. There's some people just being like, this is far from perfect. It's okay. I know Brian really liked it, I believe.
Oh yeah, do you want to catch
But
up on the chat? I think we like went off
yeah, I'm
track
just
with the chat.
I'm just looking through. This is a Blumhouse movie. Yeah, that was mentioned before, and I think that like Blumhouse is usually pretty successful. Like
They're
they don't
always
turn out like
successful.
let's just say the movies that they make are not necessarily in my wheelhouse, but like Jason Blum's kind of like his model of like film production, like if they are producing a movie or just distributing it or whatever, but if they are producing it, it's always like very low budget. Like this is like there's not a lot of locations. Like this whole movie like essentially takes place in his house or the bar, the music store, like outside in the car.
Hmm.
So there's not really, like that definitely cuts down on the production cost. It's a lot of like unknown actors that will be cast in this. I think what is her name? It's like in Indy or
Andy Navarrete.
Never. She's been in a few like moderately profiled roles at this
Has she?
point. I
Yeah,
think
I didn't
so.
look
Yeah,
into it.
yeah, I saw something on social media. There was like Superman, one of the Superman shows she was on. Um, Andy Richter is like the the boss of like the music store that they work at.
Oh yeah, he was funny.
He's he he was barely in it. I don't even think
He
we
was
saw
like
his
he was
face.
he was nervous. Like I noticed it today.
Yeah.
Like he would say these like nerve-wracking things. I can't remember any of them, but he would like say
Yeah.
things to Nikki. Or actually, that was one thing was like when they so when she has the spell, it's the next morning and they go to the store together. Um, he says something about like a Karen, and she says like, "Ugh, don't say Karen." Like Nikki says that to him, and
Hmm.
so I'm like, "Are you the demon? Is that the demon saying that? Like the demon knows enough to joke around and say like, don't say Karen, because." Nikki says like you were never with me. You've always been with this demon pretty much later on.
Hmm.
So I'm like, is that the demon saying that? That
I
part
don't
confused
know.
me.
The demon's like all up to speed on like
I know what a
Karens
Karen
and
is.
does
Yeah,
it
exactly.
know about like looks maxing and
Yeah,
logging and
because if it
stuff
was
like
someone
that?
else that said that, it would make more sense. But because it was Nikki specifically, I'm like, she's possessed right now. So like, it's kind of interesting that
There's
she's
there's
making jokes about being a Karen.
there's inconsistencies like
Yeah.
like that all throughout. Adrian saying that Curry Barker got the idea from watching the Simpsons episode. That was another thing. Like other than
Hmm.
other than Buffy, I remember that there were quite a few, probably like Treehouse of Horror episodes of
Okay.
The Simpsons where there was like some sort of wish. I don't remember specifically. Like there was a monkey paw one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like I've not watched The Simpsons in so many years. So Adrian, if you have more specifics on like which episode that is, that would probably jog my memory. Let's see. Garrison, I like the movie, but I didn't enjoy it, if that makes sense. I would say, okay, so I agree. Like this is sort of my opinion. Because I walked out of the movie feeling, and I know that there was like hype around the movie, but it wasn't. Because I saw this like the Thursday night preview.
Mm-hmm.
There was hype around it, but it wasn't to the extent of what it became like the few days later. So this wasn't really based on like me feeling like, why do people like this so much? It was just sort of my immediate reaction to the movie. I found this to be like a very miserable time. Like
To
not
watch.
that not yeah, like not that the movie is bad, but it
Mhm.
just like it left me feel like it's not a fun movie. There's really no fun to be had. I mean there are some like really like tonally odd comedic bits, like mostly when he goes into like the store and like the people that work in the store. But I mean, I wouldn't find like, like forced comedy or things like that to make a movie fun. Like you don't, comedy
Mm.
doesn't necessarily make a movie fun. But I walked out of it and just like this was just like really devastating in a way. And maybe that's to like the film's testament of just like, what it's doing is that it did have like such a visceral reaction, or was able to like garner such a visceral reaction from me, that I felt so um just like nerve-wracking is nerve-wracked is a good term. I just like it's just very uneasy. Just like I did
Icky.
not even icky Nicky. Uh Not even like icky, but just sort of like I just hated everyone. Like I didn't really
Do you
like these
think
characters.
do you think it was because like how she loses in the end? Like how she well, I mean, she gets her
It's
mind back, but she's also now probably gonna go to jail for the rest of her life.
That was like not necessarily that, because like I scenarios like that are interesting to me because I'd already felt it before the end of the movie. It was just this like this increasing thing, and I think like the sound design of this movie is so good. Um, I think like the last time I feel that like a movie, like a horror movie, had sound design that was just like this effective was probably Smile, the first
Mm,
one,
I
because I
can see
felt that
that,
like
yeah.
Smile was real, like they used their sound design to kind of build up the jump scares throughout. And I wouldn't say that this movie had jump scares. Like I didn't find this movie to be scary at all. I didn't find it to be funny, but there was just something very unsettling about it. Was almost like there was like this low rumble throughout most of it. It almost sounded like you were next to like an airfield the entire time, and like planes were like taking off and landing. It was just like the vibration of that. But like there's like moments in the movie where it's just like it's so piercing, like when she's having the shower and he's outside the door, and he's like saying whatever it is, and she turns on like he's gonna go to the party without her, and
Mm,
you hear like the squeaky tap turn off, and it's just like it really kind of like it penetrates you, it gets under your skin. So
yes.
I don't know if it was that. I think it was just like the overall story. Like I wasn't really connecting with just it on a level, like I was just watching these people's lives unravel, and I was just like only bad things are happening, and like you could have bad things happening to people and it could be fun to watch, but it just wasn't fun for me. So I left
Yeah.
just feeling like that was really effective and it got under my skin, but I didn't have a good time.
Wow. It truly made you feel, yeah, just
Yeah.
I guess deeply affected by it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I just yeah, I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't feel any kind of weird way because I just saw it as a movie. I don't know why. I guess I just saw it as a movie. I didn't really feel creeped out by her. I did feel a way when like I like the discussion that's being had, I guess, around once he realizes that it's a spell, that the spell is working and that's what actually is going on here, like he decides to have sex with her anyway. And that's when the whole scene happens where she's like looking up at the ceiling and she's making noise, but she's not really there. Like that's when
Hmm.
he's pretty much accepted it to himself, like that I'm gonna do this. And I think afterwards he feels a little bad. So like, that felt gross and that to me felt icky. Um, Not so much like in a horror movie way. That just felt kind of felt like gross and then the rest of the movie I kind of felt fine. Like I just felt like the rest of the movie was whatever. I didn't feel it didn't affect me as much, I guess,
Yeah.
as you.
Yeah.
But I did like the sound design. I will say that that was awesome. Like the way that the music would stop at certain points for something big to happen, or like for a creepy moment to happen, it would just be silence. That was really cool.
Yeah. I also thought like another aspect that was just like very uncomfortable was just like her performance is exceptional. And there's
Mhm.
like, a lot of people are saying like Oscar buzz and stuff like that. And I mean we've seen, you know, in the last couple of years, definitely like performances in horror movies like Amy Madigan for Weapons get recognized. So I don't see why is Indy Nava help me out here.
Neverette.
Neverett, yeah, shouldn't as well. Um, but it's just like this is sort of goes hand in hand with what Brian is saying. I'm glad you guys are framing it this way because I feel the same way. This movie is good, but when it's heralded like this, it's like, why so many great movies are ignored by general audiences? So it's almost like you're ignoring, there are like movies that I think are better than this, and performances like, like Toni Collette in Hereditary, or Mia Goth in
Oh
Pearl.
yeah.
That it just, obviously there's going to be performances that are just like, like now that like the Academy Awards is actually starting to recognize horror in a way. It's like unfortunate for like the films and like the performances that just got to the precipice of this like cultural shift but didn't make it. So now we're kind of here. So it's like those those people walked so these ones can run. But yeah, with
Yes.
with her in particular, like it's such an effective performance that like it made me uncomfortable, like just being around her and like the characters being around her. And not that I feel sorry for Bear or anything, but I mean like in a way like Bear is the the audience avatar. So, we are experiencing this through him, whether you like it or not. And it's just sort of like when we're out on a date with her and she's like, gets up and she's like, no, 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 like all that. Or like at the party, it's just like you can't help but like feel that secondhand embarrassment, or just like I think that that's something that this movie does effectively too. Is just like to be able to have such strong empathy for the characters within it, that like like a situation like that you're watching, that you would also feel like this is awful, at least for me, because I left the movie feeling awful and not having a good time. But
Yeah.
it's just like this is such a hard one for me, because there's so many things about it that like I don't like, but there are things about it that I have to acknowledge are done so successfully.
Oh, for sure. Like I think it was definitely effective in the way that it was made, like shot, sound, all that. Like the acting was great. Um, I think just because it's a story that we've heard before, like I don't
Yeah.
know, and the fact that she was just such an adorable beauty, I'm gonna keep saying it. She was just so cute, and like
Yeah.
I didn't like I was almost thinking in my head like what could I think that's what it was, and I'm not trying to talk shit, but I'm trying to think of like when I saw her being creepy in my head, I'm like, what is she gonna do? Like, what is the creepiest thing that, like, what could she
Mhm.
really do right now? Like, yeah, and then she starts smashing a bottle in her face at one point. So yeah, she could start hurting herself. That's something. But otherwise, when she's like walking around the room, that to me was like, she's just like a girl. I was almost seeing it like they're like action, and she's just like being kind of creepy. And so I wasn't saying that she was acting poorly. I'm just saying that like that's all I saw it as was like a girl standing up and just trying to be creepy. I didn't really
Yeah.
find it scary. I didn't really find it creepy because I was like, what is she gonna do? Like, what could she do right now? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Uh, Fun little trivia. Brian saying the only other movie to do a third weekend raised like this is 1982's E.T.
Mm.
Um, I mean,
Oh,
I,
and
what's
oh, I was gonna say really quick. Adrian did point out that the no, no, no thing reminded me of Get Out as well. I did think
that's
of
what
that.
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking too, of the maid.
Yes.
But yeah, like I saw some like reports on this movie that were sort of like, first time, et cetera, and so forth. And it's almost like they were ignoring, like, no, this isn't the most successful, like, indie movie, just in terms of like what a budget is. Like you've got Blair Witch Project and Paranormal
Hmm.
Activity. Like those were like they did it first, or they did it more successfully. So, like it's always, it feels necessary that like you have to do your fact checking. If you see something just show up, like especially on like TikTok or Instagram, it's like let's look for a second opinion, or let's make sure that this is actually factual. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's you bring up like a good point about like those moments where just like she's sort of like scurrying around and hiding in the dark, and it didn't to me it didn't feel like it really went hand in hand with the premise, because it's
Mm.
like, why is she, like, especially like this is like the first night that they're staying together, and he wakes up
Yeah.
and she's just sort of like scurrying around and hiding in the shadows, and it's just like this is not what this is like, just in terms of like a love spell or whatever. Like if someone loves you more than anyone in the world, they're not doing weird stuff like that. Like there's other
Hmm.
ways to do it. And if they are doing that, let's just say for argument's sake, they are doing stuff like that. I feel like there needed to be a progression. And it's this movie, like he snaps the bark thing, whatever it
Hmm.
is, and immediately she's like under this control. And it's it never really changes, like the level of what her obsession is never changes, like it's consistent all throughout. But it's not until like later on, like towards the end of the movie, that it starts getting dire. Like, like people start dying and things like that.
Hmm.
So it just makes me question, why was that not happening earlier on? Because what we see is like that's the first thing. He drops her off, he snaps the bark, and then she's, like all into him and comes over and she's doing all that. And then we find that she's like taken the cat, like I don't
The
know if he
cat.
buried it or
Yeah.
or like took it out of the trash, like wherever he put it, and she's got the shrine on the floor. But then following that, they have like there's this montage of them over a period of time. Like I imagine, like, is it a week or something? And we just see them like being a relatively stable, happy couple. Like they're making
Rom-com.
dinner together. She's got her little like AI generated cartoon image of them on her phone screensaver and stuff like that. So it's sort of like it starts off in this like extreme, and then it's just like, okay, now we're just like going through this, where I feel like that should have been the beginning of it. There should have been a
Hmm.
build up to it. Like we get to the point where it just, I feel like we need that progression. There needs to be a sense of like the momentum building up to the crazy, crazy thing when it happens. And we didn't get that. It was just sort of like a series of like her like acting nutso from the start.
Yeah. Exactly. And some of those things made sense for someone who's obsessed with someone, but some of those things, like you said, like why would she make a cat sandwich? Like I don't that part was like just gross. But I didn't understand why her character would do that. If like she's so in love with him, why would she like want to hurt him by doing that?
Yeah.
Um, but so the first night that they're together actually is like when there was a huge jump scare for me. Like, that part actually did scare me when like it's like the first time that they kiss, I believe, and then that's when she like
Yeah.
first comes alive and she freaks out and she's like, "Wow, what are you doing? What are you doing?" That jump scare really actually got me. And
Hmm.
then he just decides to sleep on the floor, and I don't think it's until he has sex with her that she like does the creepy stuff like hiding in the closet, hiding in the corner, and like so maybe that triggered it. Like maybe like him having sex with her is what triggered like her more like weirdness coming out. But I don't know
Yeah.
actually. I mean, I saw it for the third time today, but I wasn't looking for that like for a moment when she's changing or escalating.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that it could have been done a little bit better as far as like a progression.
Yeah. What Amethyst is saying, is this really that original? The performances are good, but the plot is threadbare and would be better a short story. It's a monkey's paw story. It has shades of Talk to Me. And you mentioned the cat of just like in terms of like this is the continuity of the cat that's just like everything about the cat is just totally confusing to me because it starts
Hmm.
off like I guess it got into like the like his sleeping pills or
I think it was
whatever that.
his grandmother's sleeping pills because she died and left him the house. And so
Okay.
so there was a bunch of pills that said Barbara something on them. And somehow the cat got
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, like they were just like, oh, like because cats can't open pill things. So
No.
was he
Thank
taking
goodness.
them? Is that the whole thing? Like I feel like all the stuff with the pills was just sort of like a little underbaked because it was just like, at one point he mentioned later that he had pills in his
Hmm.
pocket or whatever. But like, yeah, the cat dies and then like he's cleaning everything up, but like wherever she finds it from. But then after that, where did they put the cat that she's able to like unearth it again and then cut it up and cook the meat to make him a sandwich?
And he
Like
didn't notice until Sarah said your sandwich smells funny. But he had taken a full-on bite and swallowed it and everything. Chewed it, swallowed it,
I
and
well I mean I wonder if like if you were to like eat cat meat
Well, it was
Like if
dead
you
for a few
would, yeah.
days. It couldn't have been good. Like it must have been
No, yeah.
expired and like expired as if it's fresh and like that'd be fine. No, I
If she was
mean,
like she had it like in the fridge or something.
right? I mean, and it looks gross. It looked
Yeah.
black and disgusting when they showed the close up. It was like SpongeBob SquarePants when like they do the extreme close ups and you see all the detail. That's what it
Mm,
made me think of.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know with it. There's just like a lot of things that just sort of come out of nowhere in this movie. Like for instance, where does the gun come from at the end? She just like suddenly she has a gun
Well, yeah.
that is never established. It just feels like there's just like these conveniences that are put into the movie because they need to have it. Like us learning that she had been sleeping on and off again with Ian made no sense to me. Like it just like it's by the very nature of like the way the characters were presented, it was just it felt like it was completely out of left field just for the sake of like having some sort of like gotcha moment.
Well, it makes him such a scumbag friend. Like the whole movie opens with
Yeah.
him trying to practice to talk to Nikki, and Ian's just like watching him and like giving him
Yeah.
like bad advice, and come to find out he's just been sleeping with her the whole time.
Yeah.
Which yeah, they didn't even come across that they had that kind of vibe. But
Yeah,
yeah, I guess
there
you
was
never
no
know.
seeds planted there with Sarah. I mean, I'll say that like there was like her interest in him was threaded into the movie appropriately, but like the the way of just like her like showing up there or just like wanting to meet him in the car, like that felt like it was just sort of like not that it was like irrational on her part, because that's the thing, like characters can make irrational decisions and do things, but like everything that the movie had been telling us at that point is that she is terrified of Nikki. So why would she like go to like, hey, I'm gonna be texting you, knowing that she's like super dating
Mm-hmm.
you, and probably for all I know, you could be texting him and she
Her,
might have the phone and be reading
yeah,
everything. That just like all these things, and it just felt like we're just gonna throw this in here to try to like create some sort of um like depth of character that's just like, oh, she was like trying to get into school somewhere or other and she had like the acceptance letter and it's just like that whole scene felt very telegraphed for me when they were in the car, like especially when we cut to the profile shots like of her against like the side window. It's just like, oh, okay, so Nikki's gonna like pop out at some point here and like that's gonna happen.
totally.
So when it happened, it didn't have that shock value to me. And like, you know, moments like when they're all at the party and she starts like smashing herself with like the glass and all that.
Hmm.
It's like that to me, it feels like I've seen that in so many horror movies, especially like
Talk to me.
A24 Blumhouse type of movies. Yeah, Talk to Me is a really good example where it's like,
Hmm.
let's just have a scene where someone starts self-mutilating and it'll
Yeah.
be like this shocking moment in front of everyone and everyone's like, no one knows what to do and et cetera and so forth. And I can see the writing process where they're like, yeah, we're gonna have this because it's gonna be like unprecedented and no one's gonna expect it and it's gonna shock everyone. And the thing is, it's just like, but what is the context to it? Like, is there like how have you written this in that it's going to like feel like it pays off or it means anything? Like for instance, like in Scream 4, Jill starting to like throw herself into glass like portraits and like into the coffee table and stuff like that. Like there's context to that. We understand that. That's a great like shocking moment in a film because it's earned, it's set up properly. But like to just have that for the sake of like that shock value, which is going back to what we were talking about like earlier on in the movie where she's just acting creepy and hiding in the shadows, it doesn't feel like it's earned or warranted.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Sorry, I was getting lost in the chat too for a little bit because
I, I'm
it's
trying to
so
like,
bumping.
yeah, I'm trying to get like caught up on the chat or just like get to the bottom. I don't want to like because everyone's just like expressing their opinion on the movie. Like Adrian, people are saying Obsession is original, question mark. Which totally fair. I mean, we don't. When was the last time you remember seeing a horror movie that was based on a wish? And also, you can respond to the other thing I said if you want to as well.
Oh, um, um, was I don't know why Drag Me to Hell just came to mind, which I don't even think that's the same thing. Yeah,
Mm.
Good question.
What
Horror
was the
movie based on
situation
a wish.
in Drag Me to Hell?
Drag Me to Hell was like she knows that oh, she gets a curse on her. That's what it was. She gets a
Yeah,
curse
no,
put
she
on
didn't
her.
wish. It was
Yeah, she
like
didn't
it was
wish. It was a curse.
foisted upon her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh. Horror movie about a wish. There's the movie Thinner, I think of.
Well, that was a
Have you
curse as well. He didn't wish for
Oh,
to
that's
be
right. That's
thin.
like
Yeah.
actually the same exact thing. Gypsy
He was
curse.
happy being, like overweight. Like he was just like eating pie and stuff and yeah.
I'm sure the chat can think better than we can.
Yeah. We're that's the
Movie.
thing. It's just like the chat is way smarter than us.
Yes.
Um,
But yes.
let's see. Brian, I think my biggest problem with it is that the demon entity that possesses Nikki isn't ever clearly defined at all, and it makes her performance vague in a way that doesn't land for me. Amethyst is
Great
saying,
point.
I don't find Nikki that likable, sorry, before she gets a wish possessed. Like, why does Bear love her so much? She clearly isn't into him and doesn't even seem that good of a friend. I don't know if I agree with that. 'Cause, and this is another aspect that was kind of frustrating to me
What?
because there before he snaps the thing and makes his wish, she turns around and she's just like she like flat out asks him like, "Do you like me?" Because like if you
Mm.
do, now is the time to tell me. So that to me conveys that like she's like willing to explore that. Like she could reciprocate feelings for him. And she's wanting him to, essentially just own up to them and just
Yeah.
be confident
Yes.
about how he feels. And he's just like, well, you're a really good friend to me. And it's just, and you could hear the whole theater like groaned at that. They're like, oh. And the thing that's just like, that was like strike one for me. It's just like strikes for the movie. That was like the first like inconsistency that really took me out of it because why is he wishing for her to love him more than anyone in the movie? Because like clearly there is some sort of interest and whether even though it's not like because it could have been a situation where she just wanted the truth so she can say I don't feel that way about you. But that we didn't get that. If anything, that was like she was giving him the opportunity to say that, which, would make me think that the real problem here isn't that Nikki doesn't like Bear or doesn't love Bear, but that Bear is just kind of like he's just kind of a pussy in a way. Like he's
You
not
know,
he's
he
not able
reminds me of
to.
Ray from I know you did last summer.
How so?
Like how he just didn't really like defend Julie when Barry is screaming at her in the beginning of like keeping the secret and Ray is just kind of like passively letting his girlfriend be
Yeah.
screamed at. And then in this movie, when like Nikki is bashing her own face in and everyone in the party is like, "Oh my God, are you gonna help her?" And he's just sitting there
Yeah.
staring at her. Like you
He
can't even help
doesn't
your girlfriend.
he doesn't have a backbone. Like he's just a very passive character, and it's just a very frustrating one. So it's like it's hard to, it just sucks that we're like in his shoes throughout this, but it's just like hard to really like glean his perspective. And I think that was the first moment because it's like it made me think, is this a movie about him trying to find like the courage to be able to, you know, say what he wants and things like that? Or is this going to be like a wish gone wrong situation? And like that's the thing. It's just like that he didn't if he was to snap it and be like, I wish I had the courage to like talk to girls or whatever it is, that's where that would have made sense. So in this scenario, I think that it would have been clearer if there was like he actually did ask her. Like very similar to like whatever that like episode of Buffy was when Xander eventually worked up the courage to ask Buffy out and she turned him down. But it was like a thing where like I would have wanted to see like I needed that to precipitate
Yeah.
like him like as just a clear cause and effect for him making the wish that he asks Nikki out and she's the one that says we're good friends. And that then makes sense for him to make the wish, not the way that they presented it.
Yeah, I think you're right. If she had like shut him down in that moment and been like, "No, we're just friends," like I think that would have made more sense for him to like aggressively grab the toy out, the
Mm,
artifact, whatever it is, and break it. I think you're right.
yeah. The chat is not frozen. I'm just it's I need to I just don't want to miss like all of the things. I mean, the you mentioned the One Wish Willow thing. Look, I'm just gonna put the chat down to the bottom, and then you can ask again if we've missed it, and we'll keep up with it. The One Wish Willow, it's sort of like the way that it's presented, it's like this novelty item that is like currently on the market. There
Yeah.
is there's like a whole stack of, it's like a whole thing filled with them when we first see it. And the shopkeeper even says like, well, just don't come back and complain, like, saying that like this has happened to a lot of people. People have made wishes and they've backfired and they've come back and like had a problem with it. And I think that if that was the case, like that just creates a whole situation where it's like this is easy to find. This is like he calls up the number and all that. What
Hmm.
if it was a situation where this was like a one of a kind item
Like a
that,
Jumanji,
yeah, that's just like doesn't
hmm,
exist everywhere, and it's just like it's like a one of those like great finds in an antique shop
a
or little
rare,
knickknack
like
shop. Yeah,
mysterious thing that like a gypsy type person gives him, like as a cursed kind of object,
yeah.
or
Look at
like.
Brian. I wished for Zach to put the chat to the bottom. He did it beyond his own control. It's a one wish willow in action. I wonder, like, just the success of this movie. I wonder if like Jason Blum or someone like they got their hands on a One Wish Willow, and it's just like this movie will be like the most successful horror movie of all time, and snapped it, and then like that's why people are like, this is the
I think
best
so.
movie ever.
It must be
Yeah.
because people don't usually say that about Blumhouse movies. So I think that that is what happened.
What
I
was
didn't.
the? No, go
Oh,
ahead.
I was just gonna say like when the movie started, I was like, are these kids in high school? I guess just maybe because
Thank you.
I was like maybe it's because I'm 35, but or gonna be 35 this year that like I just see everyone in their 20s as like young. I don't know, but I was like,
Yeah.
how old are these kids? Because I thought they were all like after school, and then I'm like, wait, he lives alone. Okay. Oh, so he's like an adult. So they must be at least 24, 25.
I
But
think that they all lived like at least like she did. Because it like made it seem like she's sort of like didn't her mother die? There's something about her, like her mother's not in the picture anymore, and she doesn't really talk to her
mm,
father. So I think that just like
hmm.
she lives in her own house, he lives in his own house. Um, the friend, Ian, made it seem like he's like they're really like well off and he lives with his parents.
Hmm.
And then the Sarah, whose father is the Andy Richter character, she's applying for colleges and stuff. So it's
Yes.
like, yeah, it's not very clear. Just like sort of like the rules to that. India's 25 in real life. Thank you,
Okay.
Amethyst.
Yeah, I was gonna say 24, which
Bear
I
is
guess
30.
she probably was.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, because very interesting. Because I remember when I first, even today when I was watching it, I was like, wait, I was like, whose pills are those? I was like, are they his pills? I was like, oh, and I was like, who's
Hmm.
Barbara? But then later in the movie, he explains about his
Yeah.
grandmother passing. But I was like, where's his parents? But I didn't know if it was just it's just easier not to have parents in a movie like this. Like it's easier not to have to explain it to other people what's going on.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I like look at any Scream movie. Where are the parents ever?
true.
So, I mean,
They're always
that's
going away for the weekend.
yeah. I mean, I think that there's still it needs to be established. I think that like clarity is never a bad thing in scripts like this, and I think that like giving them sort of uh, a clearer age range like wouldn't be a bad thing. I saw another thing today. I can't remember if it was on Twitter or not, but someone was criticizing the fact that they work in this the most unrealistic aspect was that they work in this music store, or that like Andy Richter is able to afford to have like more than four employees on like at a time, and like
So true.
yeah, and yeah, they're selling like instruments and stuff, and like this isn't a huge place, but yeah, they're clearly going in for like m many shifts several times a week. Um, What did you make of like the taped up door?
The music scared me when like the
Yeah.
music when like it revealed what it was.
Yeah.
That scared me, but I don't know. The whole audience was like, "Whoa!" And so I was just
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't know. Okay, like it was. I think when everyone else has way too much of a reaction, like kind of what we're already saying, but like especially
Yeah.
live in the theater, like if people are too reactive to something, I'm like, okay, it wasn't that. Like let's relax.
Are would you okay, so the audience that I mean, I don't really ever pay attention to the audience that I'm like I just try to focus on the movie, but would you say it
Mhm.
was a younger audience?
Yeah, I would say everyone was like
Yeah.
definitely like on dates and stuff. Like
Yeah.
there was lots of couples, younger.
I
Yeah.
think, but I mean, like in a way though, like because yeah, maybe they're seeing that, and that's like the reactive quality that like a lot of younger people might possess. Not that like we're not reactive as like old geriatrics over here, but I think that
Yeah.
like we've been around the block, like we've seen a lot of horror, so it's just like that doesn't really have the same effect on us. Like it's just it's not that like obsession is gateway in any way, but I feel that it does feel like it's more so geared towards younger.
I
And
agree.
that's in a way like that's good because this is why this movie is so successful because the industry, at least with this, they are creating things that are like they're turning movies into events. Whereas like we've been at a point here where um like everyone's sort of been conditioned to view movies as content. Like that's why like streaming services and every like we know that like you don't have to go to the movies because things are gonna like be available
Mm.
for and everyone says for free. There's just like it'll be free in a few months,
Nothing is free.
but that's the thing. It's just like people, it's young people who are saying that because it's free for them because their parents probably pay for
Hmm.
like Netflix or whatever. So it's not that it's necessarily free, but it's accessible. It's more accessible.
Mm.
So, you know, to have something like this, and I know that they pushed back the digital release date because it was doing so well in the theater, which like absolutely, like that
Yeah.
is a smart decision. Like keep it in the theater for as long as possible. Get people to go to the theater. Um, so it's like things like this that like we are going to start to see a shift if they are smart and strategic and start like gearing things towards like you can gear things towards younger people um and have that effect and like you know like my wish actually you know what I want to amend my earlier wish. I
Yeah.
wish that streaming services would disappear.
But then you'd have to think about how would that happen? Like what would cause them all to disappear? You think it would have to be like people, would you be affecting people's minds so that people just don't want them anymore? Or would you be causing a technical issue that makes them all like virus and like stop working?
I don't care. I don't care. It's just
See?
let's take the consequences. Take the consequences.
We'll find out later. Break
Yeah.
it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, well, that's a good wish. That is a
Yeah,
good
just get
wish.
people to start going back to the theater. And maybe you don't even ask for streaming services to disappear. Just be like, I want people to start going to the movies again.
Yeah. I think I would want the charmed powers, honestly. I've always wanted them. But
Like the sisters,
yeah. I'd want all of
which
their powers.
like all of them or just one in particular.
All of them, but if I had to choose, then like I think Prue, but
Yeah.
like move stuff around.
Right.
But yeah, I would definitely ask for that. But I wanted to say, why do you think that she put together Sarah's body like that at the end? Like, do you think it was like she likes to prop up dead things, like the cat she put on display, and then Sarah's dead body she put on display. I thought that that was pretty clever when, and just another reason to show that he's kind of is a pussy is that like she murders Sarah, and then she says like you have to help me clean up the body, and then they both carry
Yeah.
the body in the trunk. But then when they get back to the house, she says, "You can go home now. I'll take care of this," and he lets her. It just cuts to him in the car, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just so funny that he literally doesn't take control of any situation. He lets
No,
everything
he
happen.
sucks. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really, you know, think about the way that things were propped up. Um, it got to a point where it felt like everything was sort of on autopilot and it was just like things were happening that not that they weren't earned, but like, you know, I don't think that they were presented or paced in the right way.
Hmm.
Like it's almost like a joke that is like not necessarily set up without a punchline, but like you miss an integral part of the joke when you're telling it, and then you're like, oh wait, I have to go back because I forgot to like mention this,
Oh yeah.
or that they didn't even bother to go back and mention it. So it's just like it didn't it, it and that's like like for instance like the gun just sort of showing up at the end there, and like the whole thing with like because the friend shows up and he's just like, I counted it. It's actually $1 billion. And then she shoots him, and it's like, so did he actually like count all that? Like, what was the whole purpose of that, other than just for him to, I guess, destroy his chance of like undoing the wish or
Yeah.
whatever, getting his friend to.
Well, it's interesting when you think about oh, and I just wanted to answer Craig's question. Yes, I do have a cat. So with this movie, when I saw the cat die, I was very upset. Um,
Hmm.
I couldn't imagine eating my cat. But anyways, um, when he calls the owner of the One Wish Willow, and it's like I think it's the director like
It's
making a
Curry,
cameo.
yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was funny. I actually thought his voice acting was hilarious. I really liked his character on that because he's like, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's real. Like, it sounds like just like a little like a kid, like a whatever. But he asks if he wants to talk to Nikki, and you hear Nikki screaming in the back. So that opens a little bit more question. It's like, so did Nikki's soul? Does it leave her body and like this person, whoever creates the One Wish Willow, does he have all these people trapped there somehow? Because we hear Nikki
Mhm.
screaming in the background. Um, so that part I was a little confused by, because then Nikki's also in her head, kind of like the sunken place. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know. Maybe I'm just
Uh,
overthinking it.
I mean, like that's the thing. It's just like it's one of those films that's definitely like open to interpretation, and you can like look at it anyway. I just more so like my criticisms are mostly with like the storytelling.
Mhm.
But I mean, this is where, you'll see the people online that's like, you just don't understand it or whatever. Amethyst is saying, I guess the problem I have with the plot is that it's not even clear the One Wish Willow will corrupt anyone's wish. The out of place shopkeeper said he had already used his wish and he was fine. And I said this earlier, but his performance felt like it was in a different movie, like a parody, or the
Mm.
scene in Urban Legends Final Cut where the 911 phone operator laughs in the caller's face. And yeah, I agree. Like I hated that shop. I hated like both like because it was, and I don't know why it wasn't just the same shopkeeper. Like they had to like bring back
Yeah,
like have him come
she
back, and
wasn't
it was like,
available, or
yeah,
he wasn't available.
a different one. And
Hmm.
like no, we just moved it, but it just like tonally it felt off. And I think we were talking about this off pod, but we are talking about the new Ready or Not,
Hmm.
where there was this like constant tonal inconsistency, like in just spoilers for Ready or Not 2, where both the sisters are getting uh the shit beaten out of them, and we have like the Samara Weaving scene where she's fighting with like the ex-girlfriend of her ex-husband or whatever, and that's like played for laughs, like it's really funny like hijinks situation. But then the damn it, what's the actress's name? Catherine
Catherine.
Newton.
Hmm.
Yeah, she's like getting wailed on by Sean Hatosi. And it's like, it's really serious. It's like dire. Like he is like, beating her within an inch of her life. And it just
Hmm.
like, and it's jumping back and forth. Like the editing is like this is happening here and this is happening here at the same time. And it feels like you can't do that comedy and then have like this serious thing where like someone is like could potentially die, like your
Yeah.
like your protagonist's sister. So when I see stuff like that, like in this movie where it's like Bear runs into the shop and he's in this dire situation where it's just like he needs to undo this or whatever, and you have the shopkeeper just sort of like and
Making it not a big deal. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like this is not like I see what it is, but like this is neither funny nor is it, kind of playing into like it's almost diminishing the tension that like I feel towards the situation with Bear,
Mm.
because it's just like here's like we're just gonna throw this random person in who has one scene, and I don't know, maybe it was like a friend of his, of Curry Barker's, that wanted to get in there just to like have like a comedy bit or something, but it's just like stuff like that always grates on me.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Um and then I don't know how you feel, but when our main character ends up kind of being the villain, like do you like that in
Hmm.
movies or do you not care one way or another? Like how do you feel
Yeah.
about them like because
So
that's the conversation right now. It's like, oh, Bear's the villain all along. We all hate Bear. And I I definitely think he's the villain for sure, but in the beginning I can sympathize with him. It's not until like halfway through that I'm like, okay.
yeah, no, this is a thing that I've seen a lot online, of just people being like, Bear's the villain, Bear is not the villain, and it's just like, I mean, my response is like, who cares? But
Yeah, I know. I
it's
just it's hard when like a movie doesn't not I don't think it's hard, but when a movie doesn't
yeah.
flow, like your main character's your good guy, and then like they make it to
Hmm.
the end, like this movie
I
just fucked that up.
I think that, like, just based on what I was saying before, is that like the effectiveness of how we as an audience are so like inside his shoes throughout
Hmm.
this. Like I think like that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if your character is good or evil. And I don't think that Bear is a villain per se. I think that he's a complicated character, and I think that's what you want. You
Hmm.
want
Yeah.
characters who are complicated. I just don't think that the writing conveyed those complexities to the best of like the script's ability. So I actually think like the real villain in this scenario is the situation. But that's not to say that like the One Wish Willow is the villain either. That's just to say that like Bear himself, through his own character flaws, created this scenario that, is kind of villainous. I don't think that he reveled in it. Like he wasn't like he obviously reaped the rewards of the wish that he made, but at the same time he also suffered the consequences.
Yeah,
So it's
that's true.
not like I don't know why this is a conversation or a debate that's being had around the movie. It does feel very reductive to me. That it feels like a conversation where people are missing the point, because it's like this is not what it's about. It's not whether or not he's the villain or not in this scenario, or that like I guess what's the alternative, that she's the villain?
Well, yeah, I guess like the demon that's possessing her,
Yeah,
is the
like I
villain.
yeah, no, I just like he's
Which is
taken
funny
a
because again, that wasn't even his wish.
no, it
But
wasn't. Like
yeah.
he like the wish has taken away her autonomy, and in a way that's probably not what he had like had in mind when he made the wish, but he certainly doesn't try to stop it. And when he calls the hotline, he doesn't ask to reverse the wish. He asks to make it more palatable for him or whatever, like just make her not
Yeah.
as intense or whatever. So that's shitty behavior for sure. So, at the
Because
end
he's
of the
trying to hold on
day,
to it. Yeah, he's trying to hold
yeah.
on to the wish. And like I get it. I think he went through most of his life feeling like, shy and quiet
Yeah.
and like he could never get someone like Nikki who comes across like she's confident and just like effortless. And I think that
Hmm.
he doesn't feel effortless. He feels like he puts in a lot of effort or he has to. So yeah, I think that because he gets a taste of what he's always wanted, he just doesn't want to let that go, and I think that's his
Yeah.
downfall. That's his like one of his
Yeah.
seven deadly sins is I don't know,
Which sin would it be?
I don't know if it would be greed or if it would be because you just want what you want and
Well,
don't
it'd be
care about how it affects anyone else or
is it
lust
is
and
it
greed.
lust though? Because it's just like I don't know if he's basing this off of like lustful feelings with her. I think that he
Mm-hmm.
genuinely has feelings for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a
Maybe a little
matter of
sloth. I
lust.
think he's a little bit lazy. I think he's
I feel like if you're wishing for something without putting the work in, like there's definitely got to
yeah.
be like a,
Because
a
he didn't even
level of
want to tell her he liked
sloth.
her. He won't even tell her his feelings. Like he won't even
Yeah.
worked at all. So a little
And even
sloth.
after the fact, he can't tell her, like, because
Hmm.
she's. I mean, I don't remember. Is there a thing where she's just like, "I love you," and he can't say it back, or well,
Um,
because he's like, "I love you, I love," at the very end, where he's like,
yeah,
"I love you,
yeah.
I love you, I love you."
Well,
Um,
I know like there's one point where like he's like, I'm just gonna go shower or something, and she's like, well, do you love me? Like that was kind of funny because like that has
yeah,
nothing to do with it. But
yeah.
that's
I
the only time I
mean,
remember that.
yeah, in a way, like everything that happens to him, I think is deserved. I,
Hmm.
and the ultimate price, I mean, besides like paying with his own life is the fact that she makes a wish herself that I'm assuming he loves her more than anyone else in the whole world. So it's just like he has his autonomy taken away as well. But then that also begs the question, is that him or is that a demon that's possessing
Mm.
him? But then it like his body dies because, he'd already taken the pills and wasn't able to puke them out at that
Mm-hmm.
point.
Which that was, I
So,
guess, the actor's idea. The actor Michael Johnston suggested that to the director that he tried like you think that he's gonna do the right thing and just take the pills and whatever, but then he
mhm,
actually last minute tries to throw them up.
yeah.
I thought that was clever.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at it two
He
ways. You
couldn't
could
be
look at
he
like,
couldn't fully be a hero. He kind of was about to
yeah,
do the wrong thing again.
yeah. Um, Brian makes a good point. Bear only looks truly villainous when he denies real Nikki's pleas to die and ignores the fact of the circumstances completely.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a situation where like Nikki can still communicate with him, but it's like when the demon is sleeping?
See, that's yeah, there's like
Yeah.
a whole lore that's not really explained of this demon.
I I think that this is like a lot of the issues that I had with the substance as well, because it wasn't I don't feel that it was clear of like what the Sue like what is she just like an extension of Elizabeth, or is that like a new entity that has been born? And
Yeah.
I feel that like the confusion for me is that the movie tries to have it both ways, where it
Mm-hmm.
is making it seem like it is an extension of her, but it is also this like completely separate autonomous being. So
And I forget why
yeah.
they wanted to make that confusing because I know they did that on purpose. Like the original script had it more um like defined that they are the same person, but I guess
Yeah.
like when they went back with editing, they cut some lines out, so it would be kind of
Yeah.
confusing. Like which I don't get. Like I always see that as that's a French film, and I know that like in other countries, Europe and stuff like that, a lot of the films. I just watched an
Mm.
Armenian film the other day. My friend showed me, and it's all emotion. It's not like it wasn't a narrative. It was like yeah, much less narrative than the US. And so um I don't know, that's kind of like how I felt with the substance that it was like there
Yeah.
was a narrative there, but I almost felt like it was like they were going more on all feelings kind of
Maybe. I mean, like
instead.
that's the thing. Like with the substance, I think that I would have enjoyed the story more had it been like they're the same entity. They're
Yeah.
sharing the same
100%.
soul, but just like
That's the fun
transferring
of
to
it.
different bodies. There's something that feels more
Yeah.
like Cronenberg about that I think like was interesting, and it's it's a fun movie, which I think like most of Cronenberg's movies aren't. But I would have liked to have seen that
Hmm.
idea, play out in the substance, and like the same
Totally.
thing here. If it had just been very clear that this is Nikki the whole time, it's just like she's lost like control over her, her ability to, make her own decisions or to control her feelings. And that's what it is. Like, I feel like the idea of like having a demonic possession is a little lazy. It's just like, it almost like it doesn't have to, there are supernatural elements to this, but it doesn't mean that you have to like fully have the, the whatever the entity is like take over her, like be its own separate hive-minded thing. I think that there's a lot more nuance and character to explore had that been Nikki the whole time. So
Yeah.
it's, with movies like this and The Substance, I feel that like, in the script, there are just like it's one decision that's made. It's one fork in the road where the writer decides to go right rather than left, and that then sort of like it creates this effect of like everything else moving forward shifts substantially. That you've veered away from what the movie, like the best possible route the story could have gone, in
Yeah.
favor of like doing something like this. Which I mean, maybe that was to justify her like cutting her face with the bottle and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
mean, people are going to disagree with me and they're going to say like, no, this is the best possible version. And like the idea that you want is going to be stupid, and fair enough. Like that might not work for you. But I just like when there's clarity to
Yeah.
the stories that are being told. And I mean, I think that they're like ambiguity is good. There can be some, but I think at the end of the day, I want to be able to like have the full picture in front of me and be able to go back and watch a movie and pick up on those like little clues and be like, oh, this is where the story goes in this direction because of that little
Mm,
thing. Like, you know, that's
yeah.
why I love like the Wes Craven Scream movies because I feel like there's so much attention to detail that makes like every decision made, every move makes sense and impacts the story
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah, this almost felt like he makes a wish that she would fall in love with him, but because that can't happen, that like whoever is like in charge of this wish making process is like, okay, well then you're gonna get this demon who is in love with you. Like, so
Hmm.
this demon is madly in love with you, and the demon is the new Nikki, and like, because at the end when they're screaming, he's like, just be Nikki, and she's like, I can't be Nikki, I can't. Like, it seems like she's
Hmm.
genuinely so upset, and I'm like, is that the demon? Like, the demon is upset, and the demon wants him to genuinely love her,
Yeah.
and so maybe the demon genuinely does love him. Because
Well, then
Nikki can't.
did the demon have its autonomy taken away from it as well in that
Well, then
scenario?
no, the demon was fine with it. The demon was one that was like saying like, yeah, but
Or is the demon like
Nikki was having
is
her
the demon,
autonomy.
it's almost like an Insidious situation where like a entity will latch itself onto you for life and be following you around. And the demon was just like always in love with Bear, and this was like the first time that like they're like, okay, now I can get into Nikki's body and you know fulfill my maybe that's what the obsession is. It's the demon.
The demon's actually
Yeah,
just a sicko
yeah,
that's been waiting for its chance.
absolutely.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah,
Did you have any other notes?
no, I think overall good movie. I look forward to maybe more what he does because this is his first movie, I believe, and I think that he did a great job for his first
Hmm.
movie of effectiveness. It affected you one way or another, so
It did. Yeah, I
you
can't
know,
deny that. Um, I know that he's taking on whatever like the next
26.
Texas Chainsaw
Oh,
Massacre
he is?
is.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
wow.
that's gonna be the next the next project. I feel like,
Hmm.
you know, like when new directors like come out and stuff like that, like and this is just speaking for myself, like I wouldn't want to like latch myself onto a franchise. Like I would want to do like my own stuff, my own original stuff. Like he has another movie
Yeah.
coming out that I think is in post-production right now that'll be before Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But it's just like I don't know. I just feel like it's like you're sidling yourself up to again, this is more IP and there's always going to be like fan expectations and studio interference on things like that. It's just like it's almost like it's a lose-lose situation. Like you're just not going to get what you
Makes me
want.
think
I
of
mean,
David Fincher in Alien 3, kind of.
and that was like his first, right?
I think it was very early in his career,
Yeah.
film wise anyway, movie wise.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Another one is like Mike Flanagan. Like all he does is IP.
Hmm.
And it's just like I know you could make really great movies. Like just move away from like other people's property. Like just make your own thing. I want to see that. Because of course, like now we've got like this Carrie miniseries coming out, and then there's going
Yeah.
to be the next Exorcist movie.
Hmm.
So and that's what you know why I appreciate filmmakers like Jordan Peele, because you know even though I wasn't like a huge fan of Nope, it's just like he is not looking to franchise things. Like he's going in there with his own original ideas and putting them out there. So
Yeah.
actually, I wonder when that we're gonna get the next film of his.
True. I wonder if it's in the works
Yeah.
or not as we speak.
Hmm.
But yeah.
But yeah, I think now is a good time to get to the cherry picker.
It's not like we kill people on purpose.
All right, so actually 2 weeks ago now, we asked you who deserves to die the most in From Dusk Till Dawn. I nominated Richie Gecko. You nominated, is it Shay Pussy or Chet Pussy?
Oh, I thought it was Che Pussy,
Shay,
but I have no idea.
Shay, Shay
What did
Pussy.
what did you
Let's
think
go.
it is?
I don't know. I just like I just because it says Chet. but
Oh.
there's no like accent over any of the letters, so I wasn't sure if it was,
Oh,
yeah.
chat. Maybe it is chat. I have no idea.
What's this? What do we like? Che pussy? Let's call him Che
Well,
pussy.
Amethyst is saying the first pronunciation, Zach. So I think that that means
Che,
chat. Or is it Shay?
Che
What was
pussy.
first?
Yeah.
Thanks,
All right.
Adrian.
So between Richie Gecko and Che pussy, it sounds very close to something else that starts with Che. Uh, Across Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube, the final tally was 337 for Richie versus 76 for Shay. Pussy.
I'm glad I got a
Uh,
few.
so what do we got? Strife 19. Shay was a slimy bastard, but Richie was a psycho who brutally murdered the hostage, and who knows who else. Black Sun. I choose Shay just because it's funny. I'd like to jump in and give him a third beating after Richie
Mm,
before he went inside the bar.
yep.
Uh, Lexi Smichinsky. Did I say that? I always mess it up. I'm sorry, Lexi. Kill it. Kill it with fire, Richie. Nicholas Wetzel. Even before briefly becoming a vampire, Richie was a very horrifying person. No one was safe around him based on his hallucination of Kate. I feel like she potentially could have ended up like Gloria, RIP, and then somehow get blamed for Richie's actions, like he tried to do earlier in the film, had the Gecko's plans not been thrown off. Adrian Phillips, was it a contractual obligation for Juliette Lewis to be uh, predated upon in 90s fare? She plays victim well as far as whatever disparaging voice Quentin Tarantino. Oh, am I supposed to do Quentin Tarantino says your performance as Richie is your best acting, yet you're still on the chopping block. Slimy, predatory nature that's only made worse with that scene. But there's more than one. Jonathan K. I think the guy who assaulted women deserves to die the most. Silent Saturn. What did Shay do? He was just trying to find a good home for a bunch of stray kittens. They can be a real problem, you know? Obviously, voting for the sadistic psycho freak Richie as much as Quentin, really. What a creep subjecting Salma to satisfying his personal kink in the name of art. Off with his
That's true.
head. Grant Dempsey, voting for Gecko could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Very good.
Love
Very
it.
good. Very good. Before we get to the vote, do we have a cherry on top?
Let's see. Cherry on top, I think would have to be Katie,
It's
right?
Nikki.
Nikki.
Yeah.
Wait, who's Katie?
I don't.
That's so
Who is
funny.
Katie? I think Are you talking about the
No,
friend?
no, I meant Nikki, but I
Nikki,
just
yeah.
and that's so funny is I wrote Katie down too in my notes.
Freaky Nikki. Freaky Katie.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
she really
definitely
didn't like
Nikki.
being called Freaky Nikki.
That's right. That was a really
Yeah.
important thing they made sure we knew
Well, it should have
in the
been like
movie.
Icky Nicky, like we were saying earlier. Like Icky, it
Yeah.
rhymes. Yeah. Always go for the rhyme.
I
Yeah,
wonder
no,
why
just
she hated the name so much.
she
Maybe she
didn't
used to be
she
wild.
she didn't strike me as a character that would be that affected by like names like that. She'd be
I
like, "That's
know. She took it
right." Yeah.
so seriously. She was like
Yeah.
really angry about it.
Yeah. But no.
Um,
I mean, it's as much a cherry on top for Nikki as it is for Indy,
yes.
with that performance. But uh, I'll take the first dibs here. I am going to nominate Bear for
As
being
you
just a
should.
spineless weasel. I mean, from the get-go, just not even being able to tell her his real feelings. Um, and also leaving these pills open for the cat to get into, as well as a plethora of other things. I his name, his full name, I believe, is Baron, or at least like his first name. So it's like supposed to be a nickname, like Bear.
Oh, I thought it was like short for Barry. That's what I assumed.
Oh, like
But
I know what you did last summer.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like because she calls him that. She says, "Hey, Bear." when they walk up
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get some info from him.
that's right. No, it's or according to Wikipedia, Baron Bear Bailey.
Baron Bear Bailey.
Baron Bear Bailey.
Bailey? That makes me think of Tiffany. Who's named
Officer
Bailey? Yeah,
Bailey, the
Officer
one that she kills.
Bailey. Yeah. Oh,
Bailey's
when
widow.
she
Yeah.
calls in Seat of Chucky when she calls his wife and she is like, wife of Officer Bailey. I don't know.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, well, now I'm wondering if I should do one of the shopkeepers because they sell it and they aren't helpful at all and they just like allow it to happen. But then no, because then it's like, do I say that everyone that owns a gun store should die? No.
I
Or
mean
like or some
that
weapon
that
store should
first
die.
one, like her customer service skills were horrible. Like she was on her Bluetooth
Yes, it was
and
horrible.
yeah.
And also like she was like watching him like pick out the stuff, which is funny, but then like once she walks away, he doesn't even like look at the crystals anymore. He's like, "Oh, just I don't know what to pick." And looks away and like starts
Yeah,
looking at
did
but I'm like, but the whole point you're there is that she lost her crystal necklace. So like or her own crystal. So like why are you even looking at other stuff? Just like grab her
yeah.
a
Yeah,
crystal.
like was he like it would have been like I'm gonna get this for her, but then also this for myself. But then he said he got a gift for her, and then I don't know, just more stuff that just confuses.
Yeah, so I guess I would have to pick and because I can't pick the demon that's inside of her, right? No, because I'd have to pick Nikki because we don't even know for sure that there's a demon
I think that
inside of
that
her, I
would
guess.
go against the rules of the cherry pick. Yes, the rules.
The
We've
rules.
talked about them before. Let me see. We haven't talked about them in a while. I can read them
No,
out
please.
loud
I would
here.
love to know the rules. I've never actually even heard the rules.
Okay, so yeah, here's I think they were first introduced post the Evil Dead episode, which apparently people like still listen to that one and they think that Edward and I like really got into a thing. No, no, no,
Really?
we're fine. That wasn't an actual thing. I don't think so. Okay, so here we go. One, each nomination must not exceed a maximum of one individual. So you can't like pick a group of people, like the
Hmm.
bullies or whatever, like you have to pick one. Two, the nominee must either be human or anthropomorphic in appearance. So like they could, I feel like they can be non-human, but they have to be like, human-esque or
Yes.
humanoid, rather.
Physical
Yeah.
and yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. If the nominee is a supernatural, scientific, or extraterrestrial being, they may only count as a valid nomination if they are shown to inhabit their original form. So I feel like that would negate the demon that
Yes.
possesses Nikki because we don't ever see what the original,
Ever.
yeah,
No, you're
is.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna go with I forgot all about him. I'm gonna go with Ian. Because I don't
Ian.
like, he was just a bad friend and he was terrible and
Yeah.
obnoxious um and sneaky and I mean, do I really think he deserved to die? Not really, but like I think yeah, I think that if anyone else, him.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Let me just read off the rest of the rules here. If the nominee is a supernatural,
Oh.
scientific, or extraterrestrial being, they may not only count as a valid nomination, they may only count as a valid nomination if they are distinguishable as their own unique and autonomous entity, separate from a hive mind. This is like what I was talking about earlier, where it's like you have to like be so specific about the information that you put in, because I'm reading this,
Hmm.
I'm like, did this come out of my brain? Like this is so obnoxious.
Very specific. All right.
Five, the nominee must be physically seen on screen and exist within the real time of their applicable media. Six, if the nominee only appears in a dream or flashback, it must be originating to the applicable media. So it couldn't be like if it was like a sequel of something and they flashed back to a scene from a
Mm.
previous movie, that wouldn't count. But if they were
Mm.
actually in the movie. The dream was in the movie. Anyway, yeah. So okay, we got Bear and we got Ian. So vote your heart, vote your conscience, and the poll will be open on firstly Patreon. It's a free vote. Even if you are not subscribed, you can head over there and be a free member. So you'll get extra votes. You can vote up to 3 times. You could also go over to Instagram, follow us there at the Cherry Picker Pod, and we post that. I mean, I'll post it tonight, so like usually Monday nights or Tuesday mornings, and then also on YouTube. So vote 3 times, but make sure you're subscribed to us. I think we keep teetering. I don't know where we're at. We're almost at 6,000, or I think we were over 6,000 subscribers
On
on
here,
on the YouTube. Yeah,
I think
we're at
it's
oh, we're more than that. We're at 6.68
yeah.
uh K subscribers. So let's get up to 7. That'll be fun. But yeah, if you prefer to listen to us, the RSS feed link is in the descriptions down below. Timothy, where can they find you on social media?
Please feel free to follow me at Tim McKay Beauty on Instagram. It's my makeup profile, but I'm slowly integrating other aspects of my life on there. So
Hmm.
slowly but
You are,
surely.
yeah. And we'll get to see some of the cool makeup effects that you've been working on, right?
Yeah, yes, I'm
Yeah.
applying to the union this month. I can't wait.
Very
Next week, actually,
excited.
next Monday. So,
Nice.
yeah, wish me luck.
Luck. And you can find me on my main YouTube channel, Zack Cherry, Zack space Cherry. Instagram and Letterboxd is Retro Bitch Face, all one word. Twitter is Zack Cherry 8. What do we got going on next week?
Next week we have Backrooms.
The Backrooms.
The
Yeah,
Backrooms. And
the
then the week
Backrooms.
oh,
Well,
that's
no,
all
no,
we
no, no,
no.
no, no.
That's
No
that's all we
spoilers.
can say. That's
Yeah.
all we can just
Yeah.
say.
We just say next. But yeah, that's what's happening next. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will be right back.